So if you're such a wizard, can you tell us here what the hell happened with Carlos Correa? Isn't it amazing, Charlie? People are still dealing with that. I'm hoping it doesn't ruin the Christmases of any Giants fans. We got, of course, the 49ers playing tomorrow. On Christmas Eve, we got the Warriors on Christmas Day, fingers crossed. And the biggest story remains around here, the fact that the Giants had Carlos Correa and then, paper cut in the 6th grade. We don't know about that. And then gone.
The one that got away. And it was so quickly. And when you're a journalist, I'm maybe not a capital J, but I'm the half J, at least in the TV side, not as much the radio side. But the questions you ask, it's the first thing you learn in journalism school, the who, the what, the when, the where, and the why. And that's what I want to break down, starting with the who signed this off in the first place. Hey, we're going out and getting Correa. Is this Farhan going out on a rogue mission? And then someone else in ownership saying, we may need to rethink these things. Let's start off with the who, Whitey. How did this go down in the first place? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, it's a good question. Two things here. We're brought to you by Golden State, serving the Bay Area for 3 generations. When you succeed, we succeed. Visit goldenstatelumber.com. And Sam Lubman says he has breaking news for us now on 95.7 The Game.
I'm not sure I'd say it's breaking news sounder-worthy breaking news, but it is a who, as in who just signed with the Giants. It is, drumroll, no drumroll, Michael Conforto. And the Giants have agreed to a 2-year deal per MLB trade rumors.
Former Met, that'll show you, huh? Hey, Mets, you got
Pending
Correa?
Physical, of course. I think we should probably add
Good
that.
point right there. Well played.
At this point.
Yeah, Conforto, somewhat, he's got a little bit of pop, outfielder, right? So he'll fill in the outfield picture for the Giants.
Let's give you the details on Conforto. Left-handed batter, throws right. 6'1", 215. We'll throw in the stats there. Former first-round pick, 29 years of age, the ripe age of 29 years old. Has 132 homers in his career. For a 29-year-old, that's really good. 255 hitter. He can help you. 30 home runs, about 30 home runs in his career from 17, 18, and 19 in 3 seasons. So with 27 and 17, 28 home runs in 18, then 33 in 2019. Coming off a season where he hit just 232 with 14 home runs in 125 games. So his stock is down right now, but he was an all-star in 17 and had that really good 3-year stretch before the pandemic. So pre-pandemic, Michael Conforto, really good baseball player. Post-pandemic, but
maybe a bargain to be had there. And in a way, nothing against Michael Conforto, but in a way, to me, this makes it worse because it's like he had Carlos Correa, and now, we don't have him, but we got this guy who's coming off some down years, but we're betting on the upside here. Doesn't it, in a way, just make it look like, wow, they really are cheap? That's nothing against Michael Conforto. It's just not real good timing for that signing.
No, it's terrible timing. The worst timing you can possibly have. I do ask you this question, though.
Yes.
The narrative is switched tremendously on Farhan because it was just a year and a half ago that we're talking 107-win team and everything Farhan touches turns to gold. And these are the types of signs where you say, all right, Farhan knows what he's doing. You had faith in Farhan. He brings in a Michael Conforto, and you expect him to be a star. I mean, even J.D. Davis comes in, and for the first week or two, it's like, hey, Farhan may have pulled a rabbit out of his hat. But right now, with what has transpired with the San Francisco Giants, I don't think many people are positive about the state of this team, about the state of this franchise, whether it's fair or not. That's what's tough about it, because you did just set a franchise record literally, how many months ago?
I know. It's incredible where this has
and
gone
now it's
so
like,
quickly.
Blow it up!
Yeah.
Blow it up!
Look, I'm an A's guy, and we used to be the home of the A's, and my dad's uncle used to be the pitching coach for the A's, so I'm an A's guy. So keep that in mind here. When I say this, Giants fans don't want rabbits out of the hat. That's like what the A's do. Oh, you got a rabbit out of the hat, right? Because you don't have a lot of, money coming in, a low payroll. Giants fans want a horse in the barn. So we got an elephant in Correa, and instead, they're taking the elephant away, and we got another rabbit out of the hat in Conforto. And that's what's so frustrating. By the way, Farhan last night, or was it, maybe it was yesterday, pardon me, according to NBC Sports Bay Area, Farhan had a Zoom call. It was in the afternoon that included players, Gabe Kapler, coaches, and members of the staff. He did the majority of the talking, according to the report, did Farhan. He took responsibility for what happened this week, told players he believes in the group, but many questions were still left unanswered. So we've been waiting for Farhan, for somebody to speak. At least yesterday, Farhan spoke, for what it's worth, to the players.
Well, Scott Boras spoke.
Yes.
He gave at least a little taste into what happened that morning. And here's what we do know. Where Carlos Correa was when this all went down, he was in San Francisco at a hotel with his family. He has a wife, a 1-year-old child, and another child on the way.
And the in-laws even, right? Didn't he even have the in-laws
there? The in-laws in town and everything. He was probably down at the wharf eating a crab chowder bowl day.
No question.
He was in Atherton looking up some real estate. He was invested, ready to go, ready to step up on a podium.
Charlie, do you know?
Hold up a jersey and say, I'm a Giant for life. I've always wanted to be here. Hold up. What's that? All right. Can you find me anywhere else to go? How about I'm already here. How about across the bay? Are they willing to shell out that kind of money? Oh, no, they're looking 3 years, $40 million. I can't do that. New York? That sounds good. He had to have had significant talks with New York prior in order for him to change his mind that quickly, right? Because that's a big lifestyle change. Hey,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you know that he literally was going to get on a cable car, and the Giants had set this up where I believe after the press conference, we're going to push you on a cable car with the whole family.
Oh,
hold on, we're going to have to get back to you.
Don't tell me this. The story keeps getting worse.
The cable car ready to roll. He's probably going to buy a pretzel down there. I used to sell those pretzels down there at the Haddon Beach cable car turnaround. But there are some now that are suggesting, you don't know what to believe. But until the Giants clarify, I think it's fair to consider a lot of this stuff. Some think that maybe Giants, somebody in ownership saw, wow, we wanted Aaron Judge. Everyone wanted him. We didn't get him. But, we got Correa. Wait, nobody really cares as much about Correa. We thought everyone's going to get excited. They're not as excited about it. Wow, and it's going to cost us a lot of money. Maybe we need to rethink this. I don't know, but it makes as much sense as anything else.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any silver lining here, it's that if Shohei Ohtani is a free agent next year, these New York teams don't have any more money. I mean, they do. Steve Cohen has all the money in the world.
You know where he's going, right?
But
you know where he's going. And I don't want to say it, but you know where he's going.
Staying in state, right?
Yeah.
Maybe going down the road
Staying
to
in SoCal,
Hollywood.
and he ain't going down to the border. Yeah, that's why I think, some of it has to do with Trevor Bauer's situation, and there was a ruling on that yesterday we don't need to get into. But I think the Dodgers, one of the reasons they've been so quiet this offseason, because they're preparing for a run at Ohtani.
Because if you get Ohtani, then you have your hitter and your pitcher, and it's like it's two signs in one. It's everything. It's the Swiss Army knife.
But so I know some Giants fans are hoping maybe Ohtani. I hope so, but I don't see that either.
I was wondering, though, with everything that went down, how often a shell of this even happens. And Boras said yesterday that it's extremely rare to get this far, obviously, to get to the day of the press conference stage and to back out. Like, this does not happen. I remember in the NBA, Chris Paul was a Laker, right? And all the details that transpired, it's been a decade.
Yeah.
But he was no longer a Laker.
David Stern, the commissioner,
said,
I'm going to block that. We're not going to let that happen.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And there were a few of those here and there. But how many pending physical? You always hear pending physical, and you say, you just gloss right over it, right?
I know.
Because this doesn't happen.
Right. Because
and now, as Sam said earlier, we have to throw in pending physical because it's a thing, apparently.
It's happened with lesser players. Ace fans remember their former closer, Grant Balfour, when he was going to go to the Orioles, and they failed the physical. But it doesn't happen at this level, and part of that is because a team doesn't want it to blow up in their face like that. So if there's any question, and I know everyone knows this, we're all processing this. If there's any question about that, you don't go ahead and schedule the freaking press conference in the cable car ride, right? You just don't do that. That's why this thing's so bizarre.
The cable car ride is just cherry on top of the
icing. That really
icing
put it over the
cake.
top for you, didn't it?
Oh, God, that's terrible. And then what's he doing later that day in New York? Next day, they're like, "Hey, you're gonna be marching around Central Park." Just tough stuff all around. I will say this: it's a question that I do want answered. So Correa, within, let's say everything transpired within an 8-hour window, right? Because
that seems
more of like a 12-hour window, because it was 9:00 Pacific time on Tuesday, to where the press conference was pushed back.
You're probably making plans to attend that, right?
Yeah, it was a couple hours before. So it was 11 a.m. The press conference was supposed to happen. 8 a.m. they canceled it. So 3 hours before. By 11:39 p.m., because it was 9 minutes after I got off the air, 11:39 p.m., so it's about 15 hours later, he's officially a New York Met per John Heyman. So in those 15 hours, what happened? That's what I want to get to. Did the Giants make a counteroffer? Because here's the thing. 13 years, $350 million, then the 12-year, $315 million deal. Scott Boras basically just left $35 million on the table with no issue at all. Didn't even sleep on it. In one day, he said, "You know what? This is the best deal. We're saving $35 million here." So did the Giants counteroffer and say, "Hey, we're going to give you the same amount of money, but it's only going to be over 8 years. We don't want to invest 13 years. We think it's a little ridiculous." I agree. I don't know why we're handing out 13-year deals ever. A lot changes in 13 years, especially with the human body.
Tell me about it. That's a cheap shot. It's a great question. Based on what we know, that's not what happened. This, of course, is the Morning Roast. Bonte Butch on vacation. Kevin Michael, Whitey Gleason, Charlie Walter with you today. The Xfinity Mobile text line, 888-957-9570. We have some news today on the Giants. Michael Conforto has agreed to terms. That's what we have to say, right, Sam? He's agreed to terms pending a physical, and we're still trying to figure out what happened with Carlos Correa. Yesterday, Farhan apparently had a Zoom call in the afternoon with players, manager Gabe Kapler, members of the staff. Because, Charlie, based on what Scott Boras is saying, and that's only one side of it, it's like the Giants said, we want to renegotiate, but they never actually did between the time they told him that and the time that something got done with the Mets. So I would think if you're the Giants, if you really want the guy, I'd be like, you know what, we got an issue here, but I'll tell you what, let's get this done. And it doesn't sound like they brought that sense of urgency to Scott Boras. But again, a lot of this we have to guess at until they fill some of this in for us.
So why doesn't Scott Boras ask the Mets to match the deal? Why are they taking the cut? Why aren't they, when they hear 12 years, $315 million, why doesn't he say no? The Giants are getting ready to pay us $13,350. We're going to get that deal done and at least make Steve Cohen spend the extra cash. It almost seems like they know something's up. Like,
maybe
this is actually a terrible deal. So just take the money and let's,
Yeah, I think there's an opt-out. Sam says there's an opt-out after 1 year. That's part of it. Also, I think the Giants were the ones that wanted to spread it out to lower the per-year expenditure. So I think some of that, the reason it was so long was because that's what the Giants wanted, so you wouldn't necessarily take that to another team. But I understand your point. It's a great point. I hope it doesn't ruin Christmas for some Giants fans.
Here's the thing.
But I wouldn't blame them.
Here's the
Too
thing.
late.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's not Christmas yet. So.
Michael Conforto. Now, if Farhan can pull some of that magic that he pulled out in 2021, Michael Conforto, in his rookie year, 841 OPS. I'm a big OPS guy.
I'm an OPS plus guy, but I like OPS. What's his OPS? That's 114 or something, 120?
He had a 148
That's
in
awesome.
2017. He had a 939 OPS. 279, 27, and 68.
Right, I'm with you.
That's a guy that you could throw in there. That the thing that the Giants needed is they needed more 3, 4, 5 hitters and less 7, 8, 9 hitters. Because, Wilmer Flores, for as nice a player as he's been lately, you don't want to throw him at the 5. You'd rather throw him down at the 7.
If a lefty's pitching,
or the
I'm
8.
okay with Wilmer hitting there. But I get your point.
You'd rather have him down there 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, preferably. Conforto, if he's hot, that's someone you could throw in the 5 hole, and you need more of those hitters, and that's what they get. So they don't get Correa, but they get Conforto, high upside guy, still young, coming off a terrible season, but in 2020, the shortened year, that 927 OPS, better than Correa's probably hitting.
Isn't he from, or didn't he go to school up in the Pacific Northwest, Conforto? Like he's an Oregon guy or something?
Oregon State.
Oregon State, yeah. 888-957-9570 on the text line from the 650. They signed damaged goods, which is a total waste of money. And I'm not sure if Z is talking about the Correa thing and saying, yeah, it's good that they didn't do that deal, or if he's talking about Conforto. 209 comparing the Giants to what team? The Pittsburgh Pirates. Cheapskates.
Oh, come on. Oh.
Giants are a mess from the 209. This is a bad look to sign Conforto now on the heels of the Correa thing.
It's definitely bad, but they spent some money this offseason. They went out and got a couple arms for their rotation. They went out and got, say what you want about him, Mitch Haniger can play.
But Rodon left. Okay, here's the thing.
Stripling and Mania. I mean,
Stripling's good, I know, but you lost Rodon.
You have to get upgrades of what you had. And is Ross Stripling an upgrade from Jacob Junis?
Is he might be. He was last year.
He should be.
Is he an upgrade from Rodon? No. The Giants won, as you pointed out, 107 games. How'd they respond? They cut payroll. Kevin Gausman, we don't want to go there. So the Giants win 107. They cut payroll. The Mets win 101 games. They're out in the first round to the Padres. How do they respond? They spent $801 million.
Yeah, well, the difference is Steve Cohen is the monopoly man, and he just chucks out money because he wants to win games. He wants to buy championships. That's what they're about in New York. And even though there's all the money in the world in this region, it doesn't seem right now, at least for the baseball teams, that buying championships is in their forte.
The guys of that caliber, that's what they cost this year, and the Giants they're squeamish about that. So what happens? You get lapped in your own division. And not only that, you have the Padres, who played it that way, and last year worked for them. The Dodgers have had massive success. This year they've been a little quiet. But you also have in your own division the Arizona Diamondbacks, who go the other way. They do it the way the Giants were trying to do it, where you develop your own players, and they're ahead of the Giants too. Now, I know record-wise you could say, no, the Giants have 181, but Arizona, I think, is further along. So the Giants are stuck in that middle ground going, yeah, we're going to find some bargains in here. Come on out. Man, we're having great bargain baseball. No.
I'm fine with the bargain baseball as long as they get those crab sandwiches out in center field down to about $6. Get those down to $6.
Not happening.
Get the Coors Light and the aluminum cans down to $3.50, and then that ballpark will be popping. But that's not happening because they're selling 1 million crab sandwiches a season, and the best they can do is Michael Conforto. Although, I've said it and I'll say it again, if Michael Conforto can get back to what he was just 2 years ago, I mean, we're not talking that long ago, he is a welcomed addition.
Do you have a wire to Farhan? Is he like telling you what to say right now or something?
He is. Okay. I've been out at Farhan.
Yeah.
Run!
What's coming up on the game?
Farhan truther.
Yeah.